Woo. Can everybody hear me? I need you guys to make a little bit of noise one more time for me, please. Can't see anybody, but you guys look amazing. See the first row, though. Well, on my right, we have my daughter, Nala. She is 10 years old, and she is my princess and my firstborn. On the other side, we have my son, Legend. He's 3 years old, and he is an absolute renegade around the house. He recently just threw something and hit my big screen TV and broke it, so I'm not very happy about that. Fatherhood is a gift. It is the most challenging, rewarding, and humbling things you can ever experience. It's absolutely nurturing to your soul. It's 10% harder than you can ever expect and 100% better. Parents out there, can we all agree? I now have a better understanding of how I was raised and how values were instilled in me by my father. This talk is a tribute to my father, Maurice Lucas, and why I choose to do the work I do. And why I choose to do the work I do for our community. But first, a little bit about my father. And if his name sounds familiar, yes, he did play in the NBA, and he was part of the 1977 Portland Trail Blazers championship team. And a fun fact, he actually led that entire series in scoring. And I know you saw the fight with Daryl Dawkins. That changed the whole series. That drove me to become a Division I athlete and a professional basketball player in Europe. My dad was firm, but he was fair. He was a protector. He was a champion. He was a pillar in our community. He was an enforcer. And he was gone a lot, playing professional basketball, coaching, providing for his family. I missed him during those times. But I was blessed. I was blessed to be the son of an NBA basketball player and champion. Even though he was gone a lot, he did his best to be there for us, whether it was coming to our sporting events or taking us to school. Those special moments meant everything to me. My dad, he didn't have it so good. He was born in Pittsburgh, in the projects, single mom, 2 other siblings, father not around much. But he used basketball as an outlet. He didn't want to repeat the cycle. He would have been in jail or prison or even dead, like many others in his neighborhood. My uncle was one of them. He spent over 15 years in prison. He was only a few years older than my father, and his son right now is in jail. That could have been me. He grew up with limited resources, but he had a coach that gave him a sense of family, and he didn't have the resources that he wanted. But when he did have the resources, he gave back to our community by creating opportunities for our youth where opportunities weren't existent. He was devoted to helping kids learn, achieve, and grow through education and through sport. That is why I chose to start my nonprofit, the Maurice Lucas Foundation.
Yes, sir.
I miss my father. There's not one day that goes by that I don't think about him. I was playing professional basketball in Europe, and I received a call from my father. I flew home, and he sat my brother and me down at my dinner table with my stepmother, and he delivered the news. He had bladder cancer. We were devastated. The rock of our family and my rock and my best friend had a horrible disease, and he was fighting it. He then spent the next 2 years, surgeries, in and out of the hospital, chemo, and ultimately passed away on Halloween, October 31st, 2010. I do this for my city because I believe in our community, and I believe in Portland. I carry on his torch for him, for my family, for my kids, for me, and for all the youth out there that may or may not have had a father like I did. Being the executive director and founder of a nonprofit is hard work. The pandemic, it made it even harder. But mission impact organizations have never been more important. I admire many organizations, and I run one myself, that deliver benefits to those we promise to serve. But the scrutiny behind how we deliver on those promises makes it hard for some organizations to survive. And let me be clear, my story and my organization are not unique. I represent thousands of other nonprofit organizations dealing with similar challenges in the state of Oregon or around the country. Just listen to these numbers from the State of Oregon Employment Department. Nearly 26,000 nonprofits are in the state of Oregon, employing about 225,000 employees. That's less than 9 staff per nonprofit organization. And 26,000 of those nonprofit jobs are paying less than $15 per hour. The problem is that nonprofits are looked at differently than the for-profit world. We're expected to provide programs that are literally changing people's lives, but are expected to do it with too little infrastructure, too few people, earning too little pay. If my nonprofit wants to expand and serve more students and families, it's going to take more resources, and it's going to take more staff. Staffing is the majority of nonprofit expenses, and it's absolutely necessary if we want to deliver on our mission. Staffing is also considered overhead, and overhead is a taboo word in a mission impact space. But like all organizations, a nonprofit must run like a business. Programs require people, and people require pay. Hiring the best talent requires resources. Ask yourself this: would you take a job with no benefits, no 401k, wearing multiple hats, working 16 hours a day, 6 to 7 days per week, with virtually no boundaries for a charity? Am I the only one? Dang. Or would you rather take a job, full benefits, 401k, strong compensation plan? The job might not be fulfilling, but it provides you with financial security. I sacrificed for the first 8 years of my nonprofit, and I probably would have did it for another 8 years if I didn't realize it was nearly impossible to retain staff and hire talented people without the basic benefits. Did the work feed my soul? Was it rewarding? Absolutely. So I showed up. Was it sustainable? Not at all. This is the charity conundrum. Most donors want their contributions to go directly to programs. That's understandable, but it takes people to run those programs. And staffing, it's a part of every business. However, a nonprofit has to generate funds up front in advance of any impact being delivered and have to raise funds over and over and over again. No matter the type of business, we all strive to deliver excellence and quality. To do this, it requires competitive market salaries, benefits, robust infrastructure, and admin support. Nonprofit doesn't mean losing money or drastically overworking your staff for too little pay. Donating to help cover salaries is donating to programs. So, how do we reframe opportunity for mission impact organizations? I think we do three things. First, change the conversation. Let's start by asking, what impact is my donation making, versus asking, how much of my donation is going directly to programs? This helps when having one-on-ones with your donors to really understand what's important to them. Of course, services are typically top of the list, but what specific services? In my case, we have many programs that donors can invest in over our 11-year comprehensive program, whether it's our middle school, high school, or post-high programs, or our financial assistance fund, our scholarship fund, or even our free sports camps. Once you can identify the programs that they're interested in, it makes it easier for us to move the conversation forward to what matters most to them, the impact on the dollar. The goal of any nonprofit is to allocate as much as possible to programs, while also being responsible, stable, and sustainable. However, you can clap, it's okay. We'll take that. However, as I alluded to earlier, if all monies went to program and nothing went to operations, there would be no organizations to run programs that have impact on our students and families. Yep. Besides changing the conversation, it's also important for donors to see the program in person, to have a full appreciation. I'm constantly inviting our donors to come to our program so they can see firsthand the impact that they are making on all of our students and families. By visiting programs, donors can become active participants in changing the conversation. Second, build transparency. By sharing financials, nonprofits can enhance transparency and build trust with all your donors. This can help donors have a more informed decision on where their money is going and the impact that it's making. It's a bit of a balancing act, though. You want donors to feel good and have a sense of security around the monies that they're donating and the impact that they're having. And it's crucial for them to be essential members of the community in which they give. In this capacity, I think donors will appreciate the costs involved in delivering the highest level of programming, including hiring and retaining elite talent. Third, collaborate. Do you remember the amount of nonprofits in the state of Oregon? 26,000. You might think that collaborating between organizations, all vying for the same dollars, might be a bad idea. But sharing and collaborating is good for everybody. When you work in a silo, you only know one way of doing things. By collaborating between nonprofits, it creates opportunities to reduce costs, enhance effectiveness, and share resources and knowledge. Personally, I've learned so much from so many organizations that are doing new and innovative ways of operating. And I too have shared all the amazing work that my team is doing with the Maurice Lucas Foundation. Through working together, we can expand our reach and promote an ecosystem of giving where everybody wins. So what makes me so passionate about all this? What drives me so hard to do this work? What makes me show up every single day? Two things. One is one of my heroes, Kobe Bryant, and his Mamba mentality. Being the son of an NBA basketball player and a professional athlete myself, I think this has always resonated with me. And the connection, it goes even deeper. On January 26, 2020, Kobe Bryant died in a horrific helicopter crash. But what makes that even more profound is that my son, legend Lucas, was born on that exact same day, at the exact same time, 9:06, that Kobe Bryant's helicopter left the airport. Second is my dad's work ethic and the values that he instilled in me. He made me, my brother, and my sister all get jobs when we were just 14 years old, so we would never feel a sense of entitlement to anything. My dad prepped me. Perhaps he trained me for 28 years of my life without me even knowing it. For what? For the rest of my life. That he would never see. He taught me so much. He taught me about compassion and empathy. Taught me how to be strong. Not today, but he showed me how to be a good dad. Taught me how to be a solid member in our community. Now, it's my time. It's been easy to honor my father. I'm still building mine. Everything I do it for him. And I know he's watching over me, and I'm sure he's proud. My father's work ethic and Kobe's relentless pursuit of self-improvement has and always will be my North Star. I feel there's a huge responsibility for me to carry on my father's legacy. My father always said, it's not what you do for yourself, but it's what you do for others and the legacy you leave behind. So what can you do? How can you do your part? Have purpose. Work on your weaknesses. Work the hardest. Be a great teammate. Have fun. My approach ties leadership and empathy and execution to create a better tomorrow for our kids, our city, and the world. We need your help. It starts with awareness and understanding and a recommitment to your nonprofit leaders that are showing up each and every day to do the work. To do the work that our community deserves. Thank you. Thank you.